This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good night, Rich Cardona. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I'm good, man. I just went on a 5-mile run and I'm ready for dinner after this call.
What's for dinner?
Chicken parm, man. Chicken parm. I'm really excited because, I love filling up after a good long run.
What's the distance we're talking about?
I did 5 miles and I have a goal of making each mile faster than the last instead of the converse. And it's a good little system my wife taught me and, it makes for a good run.
What are you at now on your first mile?
The first one tonight was 9:04 and then my last one was 22.
Wow. Wow. I thought diminishing returns would have applied, but that law doesn't apply there. That's wonderful. What part of the world are you in right now?
I am in Leesburg, Virginia. I'm probably about an hour from D.C., and we just moved up here recently, and I am super, super happy here. Everything is close and everything that we need. We have daycare set up already for my daughter, and everything is gold, man.
Love it. Yeah, I enjoyed. I was in Pocosin, Virginia. Loved it there. It was nice and calm. I like the country life.
Yes,
yeah? I like that. All right, my friend. Well, do tell me which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history.
So I met you through my business partner, John Hawley. And it's really interesting because he reached out to me on LinkedIn and we just decided to have a conversation, and he reached out. We had a conversation. Next thing I know, a month later, we have a group. There's 4 of us and we're business partners. And you're connected with the other two, Ariel Margolis and then Luke Williams. So we have those 4 mutual connections and then some other great mutual connections. And John just said, everyone just had really positive things to say. Then we connected on LinkedIn just like they did. And then here we are. And then I got to look into a little bit about what you do. And it's so funny because I'm almost doing a version of what you're doing. I love face-to-face interviews. I just don't do the podcast prior to it.
Okay. I love it. Yeah, well, definitely. It's amazing, the power of a conversation, the power of connection, isn't it? Especially now in the world.
Yeah, I think so. It's really funny. I've been having a lot of conversations about how people, complaining about social media and people are less connected than ever. I'm like, that's not true. Like, you and I might meet someday and it'll be because of that. Exactly. So one of my friends always says, when you're in line for a coffee or at the grocery store, are you going to connect with that person? Like really connect with them? No, usually, and you just don't start a random conversation. But if we are on LinkedIn and I see that we have mutual interests or mutual connections, more importantly, then I know we're probably cut from the same cloth to an extent, and we could have a 12-minute or 30-minute or 40-minute conversation. So I think, social media is actually a fantastic tool to connect with, and I think sometimes we judge each other a little bit too much about it.
Most definitely. Well, there's a confidence that you carry, right? And that confidence in itself attracts confidence. Where did you learn that from, or who did you learn that from?
It's so funny that you asked, because I was in the military for the Marine Corps for 17 years, and I gathered so much confidence during that time, and I also probably had the most self-doubt during that time as well. It sounds very paradoxical, but I had a lot of confidence in my abilities and leading, and then my deficiencies, so to speak, in my mind were just my own individual performance. I always felt like I could do better. So I had a successful career. I retired after 17 years, and then I got an MBA because I thought I had to. and then I ended up at Amazon, and then I was just unhappy. So I did that for about 2 years, and then here I am. I quit my job. My wife, my daughter, my dog, and I moved into my in-laws' basement, and I figured out what the hell I was going to do. And I would say now, right now, this moment that you and I are talking, my confidence is probably at an all-time high.
Wow.
I cannot tell you how many times a day I pause and say, this is really going to work out. You know, my entrepreneurial journey, which is interviewing executives and veterans and entrepreneurs, just because I just like to talk to people. I'm in a fantastic comfort zone. So it's just funny how you could be in a place that, enhances your performance and your leadership, but at the same time diminishes what you think about yourself. And now I would say it's all gone.
That's wonderful. I can promise you it will turn back up, but it hopefully will hit the wall of everything that you are building now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I am so confident right now because I'm able to deal with setbacks better than I ever could before. So I want to give you an example.
Sure.
On LinkedIn, all the time, people write me, like, hey, we see you started a business, we could help you scale and help reduce your mistakes during your journey. And I say, I want the mistakes. I want the headaches. I want the obstacles. I want to understand and be a practitioner first and then just go. Because when this grows and I'm able to actually hire people, I will know what they're doing and what I expect from them and how much time it takes and how to make them more efficient, etc. So I here's the thing. I'm just not in a rush.
Exactly.
I'm not in a rush, and it has given me just this peace, so to speak. I mean, everyone's in such a rush, and I'm not.
I love it. Love it. Welcome to the place of peace. I love it. All right. Tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Over the last 3 years. My wife and I have been married for about 3 years, and we knew each other before, but I would say our relationship before having a child, she's 2 years old. Before that, it was just rainbows and just everything was perfect, and I mean we couldn't get enough of each other, and we're at the movies and dinners and everything. You just the honeymoon phase. And then, our daughter came along. So for me in the last 3 years consistently, I've been really tapping into the type of husband and father I want to be. And I know that probably sounds super cliche, but I kind of got desensitized when I was in the military. I lost a lot of connection with family and friends because some of the things I saw and some of the people that I know who are no longer with us, at some point I just kind of became, I don't know, just okay with not talking to people and keeping and putting a lot of effort into my most important relationships. So since I've been out, for the last 3 years, I would say that is just something I've been inadvertently focusing on, and just realizing that the amount of effort it takes is enormous, but it also just has to be consistent. I mean, you just can't be, a decent husband one day. Like, you have to try and be amazing every day, and you have to try and be a great father every day, and you're going to fall on your face all the time. Mistakes are going to happen. You might get let down, all these different things, but at the end of the day, like, are you doing everything you can to make sure your family unit is intact? And it's funny because I look at the business the same way. Am I doing everything to make sure this has a long, sustainable future? And if the answer is no, then I need to reevaluate my stuff.
Love it. Intentionality. So important. Yeah. All right, my friend. Well, let's switch gears for a moment now, Rich. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Rich, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My least favorite?
Oh, well, no. Let's do earliest. I mean, I was tempted to say yes. What's your earliest?
Least childhood memory?
Yeah, your earliest childhood memory.
Earliest. Is that what you're saying? I'm so sorry.
It's
earliest.
okay. It's okay. Yeah. We're a couple of miles away from each other.
My earliest childhood memory, it's really terrible. It's I think no, it's not that bad. My earliest childhood memory is I have no idea how old I was, but I woke up way earlier than anyone in my house, and I had my parents and my older sister. I was up early, everyone was sleeping, and I'm like, I am gonna make breakfast. And making breakfast is I wasn't gonna turn on the stove or anything, so I made these huge bowls of cereal, and I pretty much emptied an entire gallon of milk into the 4 bowls. And then my mom came down. She's like, "You just wasted all that cereal and all this milk and whatever." And it's just so funny because I look back at it. I'm like, I was trying to do something right. So good intentions, bad judgment is one of my. I always say that to myself when something doesn't go right. I'm like, okay, like, was the intent good? If the intent was good, then I could live with it, and if it was bad judgment. But yeah, I remember that. I don't know why, because I just climbed up I was standing on the counter, like really trying hard, and I thought they'd be so impressed with cereal, and no one really cared.
That's intriguing. So how do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
I see that memory. That is such a good question. I want to serve and help others, period. Especially after 17 years of serving, I just want that to be continuous. I'm now very much at a point where I don't care about my business necessarily as much as I care about helping people, but because those paths converge, everything has been going so well. So I just want to bring value. I just want to bring value to people. I want to teach people how to be better leaders. I want to interview leaders and entrepreneurs so people can see what they have to say, so people have a better grasp of what they're actually trying and journeying out to do. I want to interview veterans who've transitioned, so that way the people getting out of the military have a better foundation and some serious transition stories, so they can, just adopt some of the best practices. And that's how it ties in. I just really love to help people and put other people first. I mean, that's just the way it is.
I love it. Well done. All right. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song? Wait, let me do something quickly though. Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind with that memory?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I just love the concept, and I'd like to live with you there for a bit. As much as your mother came and she wasn't too happy about what you've done, I think it's something to reframe the viewpoint, because in order to have more for others to get more, it's necessary for preparation. And to see that you did what you did by preparing, and not just preparing with a scarcity mindset, but that it would have more than enough. I think it's beautiful, because it's the same thing you're doing right now. And it's that place that has given you strength, where you have decided to prepare yourself and go slow, as you said. Yeah. And now it's creating all of this. So yes, there are people that may not be happy with what the process looks like, but you, with your confidence, will go through. Just needed to do that, right? If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Oh God, I think I wrote this in the thing. Any song by Dr. Dre. The Chronic came out, and I remember being in, I think, middle school, and The Chronic came out, and I had just started listening to music, and I'm very into rap, so I had The Chronic, Dr. Dre, the whole CD. I was just I didn't even touch the buttons. I just listened to the whole thing over and over. And then I thought it was so cool that I got the tape as well. So I had the cassette tape and the CD, which is completely redundant. But it was just crazy, because, I mean, it was him and Snoop just came out, and it was just out of control. And I was wearing flannel shirts to school and white socks hats. I was just ridiculous. But I mean, it was just so good. I mean, I could literally right now get in the car and put on that album and not touch a button, just like I did back then, and be completely happy.
All right, deal. All right, my friend. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's going to be yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Rich?
I'm ready.
Rich, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yes.
What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Less.
If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Rich Cardona, what would you say that is?
It would be to never, ever, ever settle. You never know. You never know what it could be if you choose to just follow your curiosities and your instincts.
Love it. Rich, this has been a great pleasure, my friend. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
No, I mean, thank you for the opportunity. That's all I really wanted to say. I love what you're doing. Thank you for having me on and being an inspiration. And I hope our audiences can get some value out of this in one way or another. And, if anyone wants to look at what I'm doing, richcardona.net, and you will see the blog, the podcast, and all the good stuff. But thank you so much for having me on, and I really enjoyed our time.
You're welcome. A pleasure I treasure. Rich Cardona, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
All right, Angel. Take care.
You're welcome.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazel Enterprise.